couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I tried to malt some grain on my own, and I failed. I need help. Coming to the audience, my YouTube brethrens, maybe some guidance from you, the viewers, to help me out with this. So let's roll the footage. Let's show what I attempted to do, and let's see if we can address these issues. All right, on my way to get the grains right now. Last time I got them at Whole Foods. This time I'm gonna try Sprouts, mostly because the line to get into Whole Foods takes like an hour, 45 minutes. I do not feel like waiting in that line right now. Sprouts should have the grains I need, much easier to get into. Heading there now. Wish me luck. Each one of these is a pound, 16 ounces. I got 3 of them. What I'm gonna do is germinate this. I have never done this before. Looking online, there's a few different methods. Some people just take it, put it in a jar, rinse it with water, pour the water out, keep it wet in the jar, and it sprouts on its own. I've seen people do it where they rinse, soak it in the water, rinse again, soak it in the water, and then let it sit wet for like 2-3 days, and it starts to sprout. So the first step is rinse, get some of the crud and rocks out of it and whatever else, then let it soak. It's about 4 o'clock right now. I'm gonna soak it till about 10 p.m. Rinse it, soak again overnight in the morning, probably just dump the water and then let it do its thing for 2 to 3 days. Hopefully it's enough. We'll find out. Okay, something I noticed that I think I should be mindful of a little bit is it's still a little cloudy when I put the water in. I think there's a bunch of stuff still on the grain. So I think I'm gonna rinse it a few times until that kind of clears up a little bit. I think that's what you're supposed to do. We'll find out. I ended up putting the barley in my mesh bag, and I just strained it over with water, rinsing through it for like 2-3 minutes. It's pretty clear. I don't know how cloudy it's still supposed to be, but I'm gonna go with it. So I filled it up pretty good here, and gonna let it sit for now about 5 hours. I think 8's supposed to be the way to do this the first round, but I usually go to bed before this will be done for the 8 hours. Fine. I'll rinse it, dump off the water, put more, fill it back up again, and let it sit that time for 8 hours, and in the morning we'll check it. So let's go to the morning and see how it looks. All right, so next day, it's about 10 a.m. Here it is. I filtered out the water, separated it out, put it into these shallow pans. Now what you're supposed to do is then spray it with water every couple hours or every 3 or 4 hours or so, and you stir it up. This is what I've been told on YouTube. One thing I did wrong, I think you're supposed to steep for 8 hours, drain the water, let it sit for about 6 hours, then steep again for 8 hours. After 6 hours, I just drain the water and put water right back on top of it again. I don't think that's 100% correct. However, we're gonna roll with it. I'm gonna cover it with this mesh bag here. You can use some light cloth maybe, or a cheesecloth. So let's see how it looks in like 2-3 days. All right, I'm at day 3, and something's starting to happen, just a little bit, but take a look. See that poking out there? Focus. I think it's starting to sprout. So let's see what it looks like tomorrow or over the next couple days. Hopefully by the end of the week, the full 5 days or so, it should be like fully sprouted. So let's continue going. Attempt number 2 to get grains. We're gonna go to Whole Foods. Sarah's accompanying me. Maybe do a little shopping, try and do 2-in-1 right now. I hope they have the grains. If not, I might have to order them online. Hopefully I won't have to do that. So wish us luck. Good to go. I got 3 bags, but I only needed 2. You know, just have some extra. 1 pound, 14 ounces in each one of these. I'm gonna measure out 3 pounds and go from there. Next step, rinsing these. I have this mesh bag. I will be putting it in there, the grains in there, and rinsing it just through water. You can also rinse it, I've seen people do like in their bucket or a pot here. Maybe a strainer, although it'd have to be a tight mesh strainer so the little grains wouldn't fall through it. But let's do that now. It is filled. You leave it like that for about 6 to 8 hours. Rinse, let it sit for about 6 hours, I think. I'm pretty sure. Then another 8 hours with water filled to the top of it. Okay, it's 5:30. Well, let's take a look at what we're dealing with here. There it is. Right to the brim. So they swelled up, obviously. I'm gonna pour the water off, let it sit for about 5 hours or so, 4 hours, then add more water, let it soak overnight. So let's go to it in the morning and see how we're looking. All right, it's the next morning, about 8 a.m. I got all the grains strained out here from the water. I'm going to then put them in these shallow containers here. And last night, I transferred off at 5:30 or so, 6, then around 10, filled up back with water to the top of this bigger pot here. Let it sit overnight, and here we are. They are transferred into these shallow containers. And the purpose of this now is to let them kind of do their thing. Now that they've been soaking, you kind of keep them moist in this shallow container environment. You should cover these, by the way, with either cheesecloth, paper towel, something like that, just so like bugs and stuff don't get in it. I will use the same strainer that I've been using this entire time for that. Anything like you have like that should work. So let's continue on. Okay, it's been 8 hours. Let's take a look at it. Here they are. So what you got to do now is like stir up from the bottom and kind of mix it up so the bottom doesn't get too soaked. I think they can get moldy or not grow as well or something or have trouble. So that's what I'm going to do about every 8 to 10 hours or so, and then make sure it stays moist with like a spray bottle. I don't know. I do not know. So here we are, and I have failed twice. I did not show the first time. I was just gonna pretend it never happened, record it from a fresh start, and I was sure I had it this time. I was sure. So comment below, help me out. I've done everything I thought I could do. soaked it for 8 hours, let it sit for 6 to 8 hours, soaked it again for, it was like 9 hours, maybe 10 the second time. Maybe it's too long. I don't know. Put it in these shallow trays. I was spraying it with water every 4 hours, 6 hours, stirring it up. The only time I couldn't do that was overnight. But I'd still let it go no more than 9 hours or so before stirring it up. It's supposed to grow in about 4 days or so. I was gonna heat it up and do the next steps. Dry it off, I should say, and then killing it. And yeah, I don't know. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because I couldn't do it. So help me out. Let me know. Comment below. And hopefully I can get this right.